Thank you very much. I have to start by saying that in my experience listening for the past day and a half, this has been one of the nicest and most responsive audiences I've ever dropped across. And it's not that I'm nervous, but I'm just praying you stay that way over the next 10 minutes. In fact, I'm going to talk about portables, but we're actually very new to this field thanks to a very recent partnership with Vista Point Flextronics. In fact, I first had the portable in my hand in June. Originally, we developed working models of what I'm going to tell you about. Believe it or not, we started in photo books and scrapbooking. We moved on to a touchscreen version for photo kiosks, and then we developed a version for digital printers, scanners, and cameras. And only then did we stumble by accident, again, thanks to Vista Point, into what we call the wonderful world of portables. We're very pleased we did because, among other things, we've learned that according to a recent Wall Street Journal report, it's where a large proportion of the next billion digital consumers are coming from, and that's always an attractive proposition. So throughout this interesting little journey, our premises remain the same. Basically, a substantial number of all digital images have insufficient image quality and are discarded in one way or another. And a significantly larger number could be enhanced to greater consumer satisfaction if the consumer had the ability to do so. It's a fallacy to think the problem's going away with a new generation of improved cameras. That's a whole day conversation, and I have to leave that for now. But actually the reverse is true. The problem will change, but the problem will get greater. The absolute numbers are staggering. I've been hearing the good staggering numbers, the number of bad staggering numbers, images lost and so on. Something like 10 billion last year were discarded. They were not printed, not done anything with. And a much larger number were not optimized in a satisfactory way. And customer dissatisfaction is one thing. It's sort of a black eye for all of us as an industry. But when it relates to economic loss, of course, it's another. And depending on whose viewpoint you look at it, the numbers, again, are staggering. I happen to be familiar with the desktop printing industry numbers because there was a recent report in Wall Street Journal showing that over the past 5 years, the proportion of digital pictures printed desktop has declined from 80% to 28%. And of course, that's not a small decline, that's a catastrophe. And for what those of us who are old enough to remember 10 years ago was going to be the ultimate killer app for desktop printing, the market's all but gone away, and that industry seems to have thrown in the towel. Well, for those and other reasons, looking at it from other economic viewpoints, that's why we among ourselves call it, this gaping void in the digital ecosphere as the billion-dollar imaging company nobody wants. And some of you are smiling because you remember a book of a similar name written decades ago about another image company not represented here today. Well, we approach the problem simultaneously from two angles. And easily the most important one was the user-friendly and consumer empowerment. And just as they say in real estate, it's all location, location, location. In consumer imaging, it's ergonomics, ergonomics, ergonomics. And we had several ergonomic criteria. The key one was that any solution must be at least as simple to use as an ATM machine, for the simple reason that millions of consumers use those on a daily basis quite satisfactorily. Think why? Big economic implication. On the other hand, it had to be significantly easier to use than the typical user interface on a digital camera, scanner, or printer for similar reasons. Millions of consumers express frustration with those on a daily basis. And of course, you don't have to take our word for that. You merely have to have read the Walter Mossberg columns over past years in technology pages of Wall Street Journal. He uses phrases like, quite rude phrases like nerd-to-nerd technology. I'm sure you're familiar with that.